Okay, in this video we will implement SSL offloading and install certificates on NetScaler. SSL offloading benefit, of course, your servers don't need to do the processing of decrypting the SSL packets. NetScaler can do it for you. Two benefits: number one, security, because once SSL offloading will be performed by NetScaler, NetScaler can inspect the content of the packets. Once the decryption has been done by NetScaler, NetScaler can inspect the traffic and ensures that there is no malicious code in it. And second thing, it will save some CPU cycle and processing power to your servers, because servers, they don't have to do SSL offloading or decryption. It will be done by NetScaler. Very simple. First we had to create RSA keys, and which include the public and private keys, and then we will create a CSR, send it to certificate authority. In my case, I have local certificate authority, Active Directory based, installed on my domain controller. But of course, in production environment, you will have something different. The real one you will get it from the authorized certificate authorities like VeriSign or DigiCert or something like that. Second thing, once I'll get the certificate, we will create a virtual server for SSL, bind that certificate to that virtual server, and then we will test SSL configuration. As I don't have I'm not using the certificate from internet-based certificate authority, so I have to manually import the CA certificate into my client computer. As it's a lab environment, so it's okay, but in production environment, as I said, you will get a proper certificate from a valid CA. So let's start. Okay. Now I'm on my on my NetScaler NS1. All I have to do, go to Traffic Management and SSL, and here I have several options related to SSL. So let's create an RSA key. Key file name, I would say secure IP sends keys. Key file length 2048. I will leave the default value. PAM is okay. PAM algorithm, I will use 3des, and password. Here I need to specify a password that will be used for this. So let's see. RSA key created. That's good. Second step is getting a CSR. Here the request file name, I would say secure IP sends CSR, and it will save on local appliance. Under, you can see the path, nsconfig SSL, key file name, and I can browse and secure ID sends keys. That's the one we created just now. Keep the PAM password. country, Australia, state, province, SW, organization name, ID sense, Sydney, sorry, test at idsense.com, organization training, and common name secure.idsense.com. That's the common name I want. Fully qualified domain name secure.idsense.com, and challenge password. Okay, so let's create it, and as you can see, CSR has been created. So click to view, and this is the CSR. So what I'll do, I will save, copy, and here I have HTTPS now DC/searcher. So I'm trying to get my certificate authority. I think that's not the path, sorry. Oh, that's it. As you can see, request a certificate. So, advanced certificate. And the type would be, I would say, web server. And what I will do, I will submit the certificate request. Okay. So I will submit the request, submit it, and let's see. Alright, certificate is issued, and download certificate, and certificate's been downloaded here. So showed folder, this is the certificate file. I would like to rename it and say secure.idsense.com. Okay. Now what we need to do, we need to upload this certificate to NetScaler. And how to do that? Simple. You have to go here. We can close this up, and we can go to certificates and say install certificate key pair name. I would say secure keys ID sense, and certificate file. Sorry, certificate file, and I think I have here a local option, and I need to go to downloads, and here it is, certificate. Key file name, and it was secure IT sense keys, PEM, password, and let's say install. Just need to double check everything is all okay. Looks okay. And oops, invalid certificate. What is that? I think the type which I did was not right. So just give me a second. Okay, I think I know what's the problem. I choose the another type of certificate. Sorry, I have to cancel this now. Let's go back to the CSR. Oh man. Okay, so okay, and this was our request. Current outside view, and again I will copy everything. Go back to Active Directory. Request a certificate, advanced certificate request, and type web server, submit. Okay, I'll choose base 64. I think the last time I chose DER encode, it needs to be base 64. Sorry about that. Just I think just sleepy a little bit. Doesn't delete this whole certificate file. Download certificate, and the certificate has been downloaded. So showing folder, I will rename this one secure.idsense.com. Then we'll go back to NetScaler, close this, and I would like to delete this certificate to make sure there is no confusion. So go back to certificate, I'll say install, and certificate I will say name, let's say secure IP sense cert keys, just the name. Certificate file, I will choose a computer, local computer. Certificate is here, and key file, browse again, and this was the key file, and password is in my case root. You need to type the same password that you used before, and let's say install. And that's good. I got a warning that the command failed on secondary node but succeeded on primary node, and it will be synced to ensure and have the same configuration. That's okay. That's just a delay message that it succeeded on primary but failed on secondary. It will take time to sync. That's absolutely fine. and we got a certificate. Awesome. So once we got the certificate, uh, just once again, what was the mistake first time that I download as a DER? I did not download as base 64. Okay, the first time a certificate was generated, I downloaded as a DER encoded. Now you need to download as base 64 encoded. Okay, that's something I just did because maybe I'm too tired now. But anyway, that's fine. We have a certificate, and what's the next thing? The next step is, of course, to the next step is to create a virtual server. So add a virtual server, secure IP since we server. Okay. Protocol SSL. IP address I will use for this one 172.16.21.198. Yep. So I created the virtual server on this IP. Now what you need to do, you need to associate a certificate. Okay, click to select, and it is this one. Install. Sorry, this one, and click OK, and bind. Secondary node again, that's fine. And I would say OK, and done. And refresh. And it is showing down. And let me see, why is it down? Ah, okay. Alright, so I would say virtual server binding. And here we go. Just full. Just sorry. Just nothing so dark. I forgot to add those virtual servers. So here we go. And it's up down. One more thing I would like to change is least connection. So I would like to change it to round robin. Da, 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 da. Okay, so it looks good. Okay, so we have, let's summarize things. Generate keys, CSR request, got certificate, install the certificate, create a virtual server on SSL, install SSL certificate on server, bind it to web servers, and yeah, bind the certificate to a virtual server and bind web servers as well. Okay, looks all good. Alright, so now we will test and see how it goes. Okay, okay. Now we'll test the connection from client computer. As I said, I have certificate authority, private certificate authority, Active Directory based, and this machine is not in domain, it's an external client. So of course I had to take the CS certificate and import it on this computer so that there was no certificate warning. And now let's see, would we be able to connect to secure.itsales.com, and let's see. The client is sending secure request, and here it is. It's connected to web server 1. So NetScaler is performing SSL offloading. Client is sending HTTPS request. HTTPS request is received by NetScaler. NetScaler do the decryption, and then it passed this HTTPS request as a normal HTTP request to backend web server. Backend web server respond to HTTP request as a normal as HTTPS response. As a HTTP response. NetScaler listens to HTTP or accept the HTTP response, and then it performs encryption to it and pass it as an HTTPS response to external client. So that's what SSL offloading is all about. NetScaler is receiving HTTPS request, performing decryption, converting it to a normal HTTP, inspecting the traffic, all clear, passing this request as a normal HTTP request without any SSL to web server. Web server is responding back with the normal HTTP response without any SSL, because we did SSL offloading. So then NetScaler, when it receives the response from a service, it encrypts again the response to HTTPS packets using those certificates and pass it to client. All good. So great stuff, and this is it, guys. That's how you install certificate on your NetScaler. One more thing, you can also install wildcard certificate. You need to make a request for wildcard certificate, and you can install wildcard certificate as well on your NetScaler. NetScaler fully supports wildcard certificates, and those can be used as well. So that's it. That's how you configure SSL offload. Take it easy.